Hello, friends. It's me, Christiana Gaudette. I am your Tarot Fairy Godmother. I am live on my YouTube channel. I am so sorry I've missed you for the past little bit. I was on tour in Tampa. Thank you to everyone who had parties and came to visit me and came to our meetup in Lutz. We had a great time, but I am back now and you can expect our schedule to go on as normal. So tonight, we have sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought there. All right. Tonight we have a members only live stream. That's what I was trying to say. A members only live stream, 7 p.m. The link for it is in the description here. And also when you first come to the channel, the link for it will be one of the first things you see. 7 p.m. members only. If you're not a member, now's a good time to become a member. Our topic, tarot magic. So exciting. How you can use your tarot deck as a set of 78 magical tools. Now, what we do on Thursdays, of course, is our Tarot Topic Weekly Newsletter recap. If you do not get the Tarot Topic Weekly Newsletter in your inbox every Wednesday, what you need to do, the link is also in the description. You can go, you can read it on my website, and you can subscribe while you're there. We do a different topic every week. This week's topic is hopes and fears. So in traditional tarot spreads, like the Celtic Cross and even the modern Celtic Cross that I use, there is a hopes and fears position, a position for hopes and fears. And I've often thought, why one position for hopes and fears? Why not a position for hopes and a position for fears? And it occurred to me just recently that our hopes and our fears are very often the same. We hope that something will happen. We fear that it won't. We fear that something will happen. We hope that it won't. So hopes and fears are two sides of the same coin, which is why it makes perfect sense for it to be a one-card position, right? And the other thing that I was thinking about around fear, I was talking to someone recently, and what they wanted in their reading is, I need you to guarantee me that the thing that I fear most is not going to happen. And sometimes in a reading, we can look at the cards and say, there's no evidence of this thing happening now or ever, so you're probably okay. But there's a lot of things, man, that can happen. Sometimes our worst fears can happen. And sometimes we cannot guarantee that, what you fear is not going to happen. What tarot can always do is give us insight on how we can be strong enough to meet the challenges that come in the best way possible. But we cannot always guarantee that the most feared thing won't happen. And that's probably a really important thing for us to all remember. So, we're doing readings on your hopes and fears and mitigation thereof and how we handle all that. So go ahead and ask your questions. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Really appreciate you. And again, special shout out to the members. We know who the members are. Their names are in green. Members, join us tonight, 7 p.m. Okay, I will take the questions in the order that I see them. I am using my trusty Spiral Tarot, one of my very favorite decks. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, so first one I see, Sun Spirit Tarot. How can I overcome my fears of being single forever? And I love that question because you're already setting an intention of overcoming that fear. So let's take a look. And I think what you have to do is reframe what you think single life would be like. Because the other thing is, it's much worse to be in a terrible relationship. You get stuck in a terrible relationship, it's better to be single. And this is not saying you will be single forever. You probably won't. But I think you've made this focus that you alone are not enough. And I think that's what you need to change. That's what you need to reframe, to recognize that you alone are enough and that being self-determining is not a terrible thing. And, the idea that you will be single forever probably is an anxiety that is not based in any kind of real reality. There's that too. All right, Von Ray, so nice to see you. Von Ray, thanks for being a member here. Thanks for using members-only emojis. And how cool is it? Well, I don't know if it's cool or not, but you have sort of the same fear that Sun Spirit Tarot does. Your question, how do I let go of the fear that I may never find the relationship and family that I want? And, I think for you, this is rooted in your own personal insecurity. Your insecurity that people may not find you attractive. Your insecurity that, it's not even like, well, there's no good people out there for me to date. Your insecurity is none of the good people out there will want to date me. So it has to do with your own relationship with yourself. And I think that's what you have to work on, is recognizing everything that you offer, everything that you bring to the table. That's what I think. Melissa Grosso, so nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. I feel I have a tendency to sabotage my hopes out of fear they may actually come true. Man, that's such a Scorpio thing. My mother used to say that to me all the time. She's like, all the Scorpios I know self-sabotage, so don't you do that. And so I could just hear my mother's voice saying that to you, Melissa, as a fellow Scorpio. Don't self-sabotage, right? But how can you combat your tendency toward self-sabotage? What you really have to do, see, there's my mother giving this advice to you, right? What you really have to do, but you know what? It's also your mother and the fears she planted in you. As you were growing up, I think you were not taught that you can do whatever you want to do. You were not taught to celebrate your ability for success. And I think that is really a part of the problem. So you must be aware of the tendency. You must catch yourself when you do it. And you must recognize that you are trained to not expect your own success. So you have to change that. You have to expect your success. Karen Winkle, so nice to see you. Thanks for using a members only emoji. And thanks for being a member. How can I get past the fears that are holding me back? All right, let's take a look. How can you get past the fears that are holding you back? Well, and it's so much about work and money and not having what you need and not being able to do what you want to do and change in general. You fear change, and it can really be debilitating for you. You can really be in that place of fear and it just paralyzes you. It's really hard. And so how can you get over that? You have to fight the battle. You have to recognize this is your biggest enemy, and you are strong, you are creative, you are spiritual, you are powerful, much more powerful than any of that. So you need to address this head on as a magical battle. Serious. Claire C., my good friend, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a member here. I'm beginning to allow my fears about poor health to influence my hopes to travel. How do I know when to listen to these fears? That's a hard one, especially during a pandemic, right? So when, there are some fears that are here for our own protection. We fear dying in a car crash, or we fear a speeding ticket, so we don't do stupid things when we drive, right? We fear hurting another person. So sometimes our fears are helpful. For you, how do you know when your fear is legitimate and appropriate and when your fear is just limiting you when it shouldn't? Well, it's a decision each and every time. And at the end of the day, you can always ask your doctor, am I good to travel? But I would say if you get travel insurance, it is better to plan the trip. And if you have travel insurance, you can always cancel if you need to. But also, like, you know, health can be an up and down thing, but there's nothing here that tells me you're like in some debilitated situation. So there's that there too, right? Ben Libra does tarot. Nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. Thanks for using a members only emoji. Happy Thursday to you. Smile Soul 20. Thank you for being a member here. Nice to see you. Nalini, you're a new member. We really appreciate that. I've been feeling fearful of my new relationship and living situation. How do I let go of those fears? Well, and the question is the fear based on something legitimate going on now? Is the fear based on stuff from your past? Yes. And so that's the first thing you need to do is recognize that that fear is based on your past. It's based on your past, not what's going on now. Learn from it, but don't let it drive you because that's not the thing. But are there things going on now in this new relationship that are concerning? Sure, of course there are. Every new relationship has concerns. And I think what you do is you're sort of like, oh my gosh, this relationship has to work. If it doesn't work, oh my gosh, like you catastrophize the idea of the relationship not working. And that puts so much pressure on it. So you're doing two things here, Nalini. You are, first of all, bringing your trauma from a past relationship here, number one. And number two, you're like fearful that this won't work out and catastrophizing that idea when it's really not that big a deal. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, great. And, you know, I think that's part of the issue too. So it's really all in how you frame it. Hey, Jackie Masters, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. Clumsy Clairvoyance, thank you so much for the super sticker. We really appreciate that. Hey, Nesty, so nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. I just got an answer. It's a Scorpio thing, right? Yeah, no, seriously. Okay, Nesty, how can I turn my fears into an advantage? Is it possible? You know, so often it is. I've done like local community theater stuff, and we use stage fright to make you better on stage. It makes you sharper. There are times that fear can make you sharper. Fear can give you an edge. But for you personally, how can you turn your fears into an advantage? Is it possible? If you acknowledge your fear, use it to make you stronger and say, you know, I'm the one in charge and I can handle this, and the fear is just going to give me energy. Let the fear energize you and recognize you're strong enough and you're capable and you can do it. I think that's what you need to do. Clumsy Clairvoyance, so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I popped in on your channel the other day. Clumsy Clairvoyance has a YouTube channel under that same name, Clumsy Clairvoyance. Check it out. And thank you again for the super sticker. Do I have any fears that I'm suppressing currently? Not suppressing. I mean, I think you're always like a little afraid that you won't have the success that you want. And that is suppressing you. Right? So I think you have to be able to visualize your own success. That's really the important thing for you. Karen likes the idea of the magical battle. There you go. Jackie Masters, thanks so much for being a member here, Jackie. What do I need to do to move forward despite my fears holding me back? What are these fears and will I manage to get over them? Well, let's see. Okay, first of all, what are the fears? I think you fear not having what you need, whether that's money or guidance or support. You fear not having what you need. That's the fear. Okay. How will you manage to get over that? Well, you're going to have to work on it. It's not going to happen naturally. You have to do it. How can you do it? This comes from your childhood, either things you were taught or things you experienced in your childhood. I think you need root chakra exercises. Work with the root chakra. Seriously, that would help. Know that you will have everything that you need. You know, do meditations where you know that you will have what you need, that you are supplied, that you have resources, that you are capable. I think that's really, really what you need. You need to develop the spiritual wisdom in the body, in the root chakra, in the body and in the mind and in the spirit, that you can access and do whatever the heck you want and need. Seriously. Excuse me. Okay. Catherine Fan, nice to see you. I fear I'll never be able to pursue my passions and dream lifestyle due to my financial responsibilities to my family. I love them, but it can be a bit overwhelming and suffocating. Well, suffering's in there too, isn't it? So what can I tell you about that? You know, the thing is, you got to balance it out. Yes, you may have taken on responsibilities here, but is there more going in there than there should be? You know, do you need better boundaries? That's number one. Number two, how can you make space for your own skills and your own abilities? I think this is doable. I think you can do it. I think you can find the solution, but it's going to be about creative problem solving. It's going to be about boundaries. It's going to be about recognizing that when people need you more than you need them, you can set the boundaries. Those are the things as far as I can see. All right. From my perspective, I have answered every question. If I've missed someone, I am so sorry. Please do reiterate. If you haven't asked a question yet and you want to, by all means, please do. Once again, members, 7 p.m. tonight. The link is in this description. It will also be in the Global Tarot Circle page on Facebook. And when you first come to this channel, it should be right there waiting for you. But if you have to, you can always go to playlists and it'll be in the members only playlist. So members, please join us this evening. If you're not a member, please do consider joining. My friends, I want to thank you so much. I will be keeping to my regular schedule of lives now going forward. So I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at noon for the Friday Weekly Wrap-Up, Saturday at 12:30 for the Saturday Psychic Sampler. But once again, members, join me tonight, 7 p.m. Thank you all so very much, and do get to my website, read the newsletter, subscribe so you get it in your inbox. Thank you all so very much. I'll see you soon.